It just brought up another question that I have for you too, because I know that the post-production that you did on our interview and the clips and whatnot that I've seen you put up online, like it's no small, it's not a small investment. Like there's time, there's money involved in that. You got to pay a designer, you got to chop these things up, you got to push it out. That takes time to just do it. One of the things that I'm just trying to find ways to improve this is I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm going deep, man. I'm doing like 5 topic videos and social clips and creating quote graphics, and we're making sure that the quality is really good. And then, some guests, I'll give it to them and they just run with it, man. They're like amazing. And they'll throw it into their own production schedule, like their distribution schedule, and they're sharing things and it's in their evergreen system and their emails. And others, you don't even hear from them. They're just like, cool. Like, do people realize the amount of effort and time? Like your stuff that you gave to me, like that's going in my system, man. Like, because this is an evergreen conversation that we have had. It wasn't just March, April conversation. This is going to be relevant in 2 years, and people on my email list will be seeing those things when they come in. How do you motivate your guests, man, to like share your stuff? What have you found?
So I think empathy is important too. So if you flip it to the other side, I think sometimes as podcast host, we forget that person that's a guest, they've got a million things going on too. They have their own systems. They have their own team. They're not just sitting there waiting like, when is Mark going to send me all my clips? That's not how it works. And what we end up doing is we convolute our system. We add too many emails, too many messages. We'll send them too much stuff to share. Here's a link to YouTube. And also make sure that they log in on iTunes, but there's Spotify too, Oh, by the way, here's 10 different clips from the show with 5 different images. Make sure you share them on Instagram because you got to make it simple. We got to make it simple, because overwhelming with people with too much information is way too complicated. So really what I've kind of dropped down to is I'll send a client 1 or 2 clips with the expectation that they're not going to share them. Most people don't share. But what you want to do is make it as easy as possible. So post something on an Instagram story and tag them. Right now, Instagram Reels that's the cash cow right now. So you post an Instagram Reel and you invite the other person to collaborate with you. So I did this with you. I'm not sure if you accept it or not because it's hard for me to keep track. But what I'll do is I'll post a reel and I'll invite you to collaborate. And if you say yes, now all of a sudden it's not just shared in my grid, it's shared in your grid also with all of your fans.
See, I'm still a newbie on the Instagram side of things. I resisted it forever. And then now recently I'm like, okay, I'll get into it. But I haven't figured that out. But to your points,
but what you did do is you did share on LinkedIn. I tagged you. You shared it with your community on LinkedIn. Super simple.
Yeah. You're going to have to follow up with me on that Instagram one, though, because I think I know what you're talking about. Like my wife created a post the other day and then she said, let's collaborate on it. And then it showed up on my wall as well. And now both of our audiences are seeing that and engaging on it and commenting on it. That's a great tip. That's great. So yeah, please follow up with me on that one because I probably just dropped the ball on that.
It happens. But, and again, I have no expectation that a guest is just going to share like crazy because that doesn't always happen. When it does happen, it's awesome. And you get to get in front of a lot of new eyeballs. But, like I said, we have to understand that we want to make it as easy. We want to make it as frictionless as possible for people to share our work or to get signed up. Everything needs to be as frictionless as possible. If I have to click 3 buttons, I'm out. If I only have to click 1 button, I might be in.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great point, man. And actually, I had a revelation here right now based on how our conversation has gone around, like, we need to be the example. We can't expect our clients to do what we tell them to do if we're not doing it as well. And I made the conscious decision a couple of weeks ago to think, I'm getting interviewed on quite a few podcasts right now because I'm showing up and sharing a different side of my story and my truth. And I think I've got like 7 or 8 interviews in the last couple of months, and now they're starting to back up. And I was like, man, if I want people to share my shit, I better go share theirs. I have to be the example. So I have it to do. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, okay, this is happening this afternoon. I need to put Mark stuff into my follow-up sequence of my distribution strategy. I got Brian Panuzzo who interviewed me. That was a great interview. Totally different kind of spin, Just got to make the time for it. Be the example. And I love that advice, though, of just keep it simple. Because I think that's maybe where I've been guilty of it is we go and create all these amazing assets and we go, here you go. And it's like 7 videos and 15 quote graphics. And they're like, this is awesome. But like, dude, I don't got time to set all this up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One video, one image. And even then, the best thing to do is just make sure that you tag that person properly and let them, and just send them a DM and say, hey, I just tagged you on LinkedIn. If you could share this, that would be awesome. You know, that's easy. It takes me 2 clicks and then I could type a quick thing. This is a great interview, you know?
Well, and I am noticing that.
Just always.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I am noticing that too, because, you know, the volume of quote graphics that we're creating now, I'm publishing them on a daily basis, sometimes like 2 a day type thing. And we're making sure that we're mentioning the guests, and not all of them are jumping on it and sharing it in their reels and that type of thing. But some of them are, man. And you can tell that they really appreciate the effort that went into creating that, because it's their voice, right? Like, it's me investing time and money to create something that actually benefits them. So the ones that get it, they're like, this is amazing, and they'll put it out. So yeah, sure.
I mean, it's a collaboration. Yeah. It's a collaboration. It's like if you and someone worked on a project and then you win an award and you go up on stage and like, I'm going to make sure that I recognize that Trevor was part of this project. If I was just like, thank you for this reward, I did it all on my own, nobody else helped me, F you, and walked off stage, it's just kind of like a slap in the face. Like, I took time, I took money to help promote you with my entire audience, and you can't just hit the retweet button. That's not a way. There. You're completely missing the point of the guest opportunity when you do that. Now, at the same time, some podcast hosts have a completely unrealistic expectation of what you're going to do. You know, they'll say, like, again, you got to be realistic, but at the same time, being respectful and making sure that you promote. Yeah, because that's what the relationship's about. I really believe that.
This last part of this chat has been super helpful for me, man. I'm going to have to start diving into more of these strategies because... And I think it speaks well to anybody that's watching this too. When you think about starting a podcast, it starts with, well, what's it going to be about? What's the name of it? Do I need show art? Which platform should I put it? That's the early stages. The best answer is like, well, you know, use some good resources, just start, allow it to adapt over time. But then eventually you get to this place where you're like, how do I expand the reach of this? How do I get more people to see and hear this? How do I create better collaborations with my guests? And I'm just saying that out loud because I'm grateful to be at that stage. But it's awesome, man. But I had to start, right? I had to start last August, and people do get hung up on that. They start thinking about all that stuff, and you're like, you're not even close to being there yet. Just go back here, you know? Start with why. Let's start with why. Let's figure out how you're going to monetize this, whatever that looks like, and then start moving in that direction. Find your guides, find your mentors, join these programs. We'll link all this stuff up, of course, man. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the full unedited episode, go ahead and click over here. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much.